Welcome back. I'm George Dean, President and CEO of the Greater Phoenix Urban League, a leading provider of human services in the Valley. You're watching Urban Connections, and if you are just tuning in, you're just in time. We haven't gotten started. Just had a brief introduction a couple of minutes ago, but I'm very pleased this morning to have as my guest Alan A.P. Powell.
Yes, sir.
A.P. Powell, as we know him, and the founder of the Checkered Flag Run Foundation.
Yes, sir.
And AP, let me say welcome to Urban Connections.
Well, thank you, Mr. Dean. Thanks for having me this morning.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit about Alan Powell. How long have you been in Arizona, and what brought you to Arizona and so forth?
I've been in Arizona approximately about 10 years.
Okay.
Came here to visit my sister approximately 10 years ago and ended up staying. I ended up
Fell in love
with Arizona.
All right.
I'm a big motorcycle enthusiast, and I had never seen any weather like that Christmas Day.
Okay. Well, that was you came during
I came during
December when you
December.
first came.
Yes, sir.
Found the sunshine and everything, and said, "This is where I want to be."
Yes, sir.
Okay, coming from
Louisville. Well, I originally came from California. I was in the entertainment business. I used to run a company called The Firm in L.A., where I managed about 80% of Hollywood. So I ended up moving from L.A. as semi-retired, ended up moving from L.A. to Phoenix.
Okay, and you started the Checkered Flag Run Foundation. Now, when and why was that started?
The Checkered Flag Foundation was started with a multicultural partnership with NASCAR, trying to figure out ways to get African Americans to participate in this sport. We actually said, well, why don't we expand it and get the community involved? So we started the foundation in approximately 2011.
In 2011?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And NASCAR is, I mean, that's the racing.
Yes, sir.
The guys riding around the tracks and so forth. And it's not very many African Americans involved in that sport, is it?
No, sir, not at all. And we really liked the sport, but we took one of the things that we took from the sport that was really great is our mission statement, which is ensuring every kid gets a chance to cross the finish line.
Every kid gets a chance to cross the finish line.
Yes, sir.
So the primary purpose of the foundation is to assist primarily kids? Is that what you?
So our primary is to figure out opportunities for kids of color in the inner city, to figure out opportunities for these kids. We service K through 8 for a backpack drive that we do called Phoenix Tools to School, which we've had your support from the Urban League.
Right.
We have another initiative that's called Racing to the Top, which is a scholarship program that we've partnered with Thurgood Marshall with HBCUs, which will service seniors in high school and juniors in high school in Arizona that we've talked to you about. And other program that we have is we did a couple programs with the President's Initiative, which is My Brother's Keeper. We've done 2 of those here in the city of Phoenix, and we've had the support of the Urban League, the Black Chamber, and the Hispanic Chamber. And so those primary were the 3 programs that we had. And we did a one-off, which we had the support of the city, which was called the Bridge Program, connecting the community to police professionalism to figure out better ways for the community and the police to get along, so we can have have a pretty much comfortable society.
Okay. Now, let's go back to that backpack program, and because I was a part of that earlier this year. I think it was in August or September.
Yes, sir.
Just before the kids went back to school. You did, what, about 2,500 kids backpacks?
About
and
3,600.
3,600
kids.
3,600 kids. And,
yes, sir.
And with the backpacks, you gave them a backpack to go back to school? What else?
We gave them a backpack.
What was inside the backpacks?
We had full supplies, binders, all the tools they need and the necessities they need to be successful in school.
Pencils,
paper. We also gave them breakfast. We assisted them with haircuts and hairstyles, because grooming is the main part of school, and feeling comfortable with yourself and feeling like you're assertive. So how you look is pretty much how you perform sometimes. So we did that. We also assisted with a full breakfast that was supported with the American Legion.
Okay. So that was really amazing. I know, to see those kids, and the lines were just wrapped around the American Legion.
Yes, sir.
Building there for the kids to get that. And it seemed like the parents were just as involved as the kids were. And
yes, sir. Yes, sir. We really were really pleased with the outcome of the event. We love the support. We had the support from you, the Urban League. We had the support of the Black Chamber, the Hispanic Chamber. We had even city officials come out. We had a police department to support it. So it was really great, you know, and I'm an African-American a veteran. So, you know, being able to do it at 16th and Broadway, which is one of the focal points of the community, I thought it was a great place to have it, and it really went well.
Okay, okay. And you also mentioned my Brother's Keepers thing.
Yes, sir.
I really like the thing you did, something with police. You brought in some police chiefs from around the country.
Yes, sir. We brought in 7 police chiefs from across the country, and what we were talking about was best practices. How can we figure out what the best practices is between the police and the community to figure out ways for the community to feel comfortable with the police and the police to feel comfortable with the police? Not a griping session, but just best practices and kind of laying out a platform to figure out ways for each group to get along with one another.
Called community policing, is that the name?
Community engagement policing.
Community engagement policing,
yes,
and
sir.
so forth. And,
yes, sir.
And of course, the city of Phoenix was involved in that.
Yes, sir.
Also.
The city of Phoenix was involved. We had the chief of Denver. We had the chief from Oakland, California, Atlanta. We had chiefs from Seattle. Mostly were African-American police chiefs, except for Chief Yonner, who was our local police chief. But we had a real good dialogue and figure out some best practices. And we're doing another one in Houston, Texas, which we're going to partner with the Urban League in Houston and do another one in Houston coming up Black History Month on the 17th and 18th.
Okay, okay. So, is it helping? How do you feel about it? How do you feel about it?
I feel like we're moving the needle because I feel like we're trying to figure out ways to be proactive instead of reactive. So I think that alone is just taking one step forward. But because everybody can sit on the sideline and say we should do this and we should do that, but we're actually trying to do something. The outcome was pretty good from that event, but time will tell how it all turns out. But it's at least a good start.
Okay. We're going to take a short break, AP, and we're going to come back and talk some more about the Checkered Flag Run Foundation.
Yes, sir.
Stay tuned. We'll be back. Welcome back. I'm George Dean, President and CEO of the Greater Phoenix Urban League, a leading provider of human services in the Valley. You're watching Urban Connections. And I'm talking this morning with Alan A.P. Powell, the founder of the Checkered Flag Run Foundation, that has been here almost 5 years now and really doing some great things as far as the community is concerned. I think most of his activities have taken place in South Phoenix area and that you primarily centered around children of color.
Yes, sir.
Black and brown, that
yes,
is.
Sir.
But you welcome anybody that comes for the backpacks and so forth. That,
yes, sir.
That they can do that.
Yeah, we don't discriminate.
Don't discriminate. Okay, that is very good. You've accomplished quite a bit in a 5-year period of time, and
yes, sir.
You also mentioned My Brother's Keeper, which is another thing that the president came out with over a year ago, and haven't seen a lot of activity as far as that is concerned. What are the things that Checkered Flag has done with My Brother's Keeper?
So we were the first one to, actually we were the second one. They brought in one of the guys from the White House maybe about a year ago, the Arizona Community Foundation. They brought in Mr. Shelton. At one time he was over My Brother's Keeper for the president. So we decided to do a second My Brother's Keeper during Super Bowl weekend, which was called My Brother Up Forum. So we took advantage of my background in entertainment and the relationships I have and bringing some key people that we thought the kids would like to talk to about being successful and hearing some of their stories and hearing how their trials and tribulations. So we brought in Boris Kodjoe, who is an actor, who him and his wife Nicole Kodjoe.
Right.
We had Damon John from Shark Tank. We had Damon, who's founder of FUBU. We brought in Freeway Rick Ross, who had a compelling story from the streets, which was in the Ollie North scandal. We had Robert Sarver, owner of the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
We had John Ornstein, who owns Mesa Airlines, and we had Kerwin Brown from the Black Chamber. So we had a very diverse group, and on our first My Brother Up Forum, and then on the second one we done, Both of them were done at Pilgrim Rest. We done the second one at Pilgrim Rest, and that one was all about my sports box dialogue, trying to figure out ways to get kids engaged and hear stories from sports to keep kids out of trouble. So we had Cedric Sabalas, we had WNBA players. Boris came back once again because he was an amateur tennis star, #1 tennis player in the world coming out of college, and people didn't know that.
Wow.
So we had a real great group, and Sarver came back to speak to the kids, and we had Simeon Rice, who Pro Bowler, used to play for Arizona Cardinals, so we had a very diverse group with that. And we think we had some great outcomes. Kids got to talk to some of these individuals and figure out what their stories were and some of the ways that kept them out of trouble, and figuring out how somebody could be their brother's keeper.
Okay. I think in those situations, if you just get one kid, if you can just change one kid and cause that kid to move on and go up, it's worth it.
Yes,
doing
sir.
it,
Yes, sir.
Whether you do one or do 50, it doesn't make any difference, but just doing one really makes it all worthwhile. And
Yes,
so
sir.
forth.
It actually
Now, you
does.
said earlier that you were a part of the Hollywood scene for a while. So
Yes, sir.
You know a lot of the folks in the industry. I've heard you call out some big-time names
Yes,
there,
sir.
and so forth. So how did you meet all these folks?
I met most of these folks during my tenure. I ran a company called The Firm at the time in LA in 2004, and it was probably the largest management company in the country at the time. We managed everybody from Cameron Diaz, Samuel Jackson, Martin Lawrence, Backstreet Boys, Limp Bizkit, Mary J. Blige, et cetera, et cetera. So
Wow.
I was the vice president of that company. So that's how I met a lot of the individuals and worked with a lot of these individuals, and I've kept close contact with them when I went a different direction with my career. I
Okay.
stayed in the entertainment business for years and then left out, and from there I ended up running a company called T-Town Records, which was a subsidiary of Universal Records, was the largest record company in the South in Texas.
Okay. So you also know Floyd Mayweather.
Yes, sir. Very close friend of mine. When I was at the firm, I did a deal with Floyd with Pony, and Floyd's been a lifetime friend. We've been like brothers for probably 15 years. I helped him when he was first going to talk to HBO, to Ross Greenberg. I assisted him in a lot of stuff he did early in his career.
You have quite a career. You have quite a career, AP.
Yes, sir.
You hit Arizona running, and in 5 years, you've been able to touch the lives of a lot of folks here.
Yes, sir. Well, I mean,
that's an accomplishment.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dean. But one of the first people I met that assisted me, and I really appreciate your support, because when I first got here, you was one of the first people that didn't treat me like an outsider, and
Okay.
gave me an opportunity to prove myself. So I really appreciate that. So
Well,
I just want to thank you and the Urban League for you all support on everything that the Checker Flag Run has done in the community.
Well, you have more than proven yourself in terms of, as far as I'm concerned, as far as getting to the kids in the community and doing the kind of things that you do and so forth. Now, you mentioned some things that you're going to do, but what are what's going to be your main focus as we getting ready to move into 2016 now?
Well, 2016, one of the big projects we're working on is called the Black Bat Classic, which we're going to be actually doing a baseball game with Thurgood Marshall, bringing HBCUs and trying to get African Americans picked up by Major League Baseball, because Chris Rock did a special. There's a shortage of African American players coming from black schools to get into Major League Baseball. So we're trying to highlight that on MLK weekend in 2017 in Arizona, especially with all the stuff that's happening in our state with 1070 and immigration. And we think that our state, especially with having all the spring training here, we thought this would be a great place to launch this. And we've got the support of Ken Griffey Jr., who's going to the Hall of Fame. He's part of a company that he owns with Nike, and they're supporting it. There's 110% GoPro and some other sponsors are coming on board. We've got the support of Mr. Kendrick locally from the Arizona Diamondbacks. So all these people are supporting us to try to pull this initiative off to bring some diversity and some culture back to the state of Arizona.
Okay, and you're bringing in HBCUs, historical black colleges and universities.
Yes, sir. Also,
Their baseball teams are going to
yes,
come
sir.
and play?
Yes, sir. We're going to bring in probably 4 teams the first year, but we also going to have a big comedy show with Chris Rock on Friday. We're going to have a Battle of the Bands on Saturday, maybe like a FAMU and a Southern Battle of the Bands. People in Arizona have never seen that before. Wow. And then maybe have a big step show the first year, and then let everybody go home Sunday. Just give them some entertainment, some historical black college entertainment.
All right. We got to take another short break, and we'll come back and wrap up this conversation, AP.
Yes, sir.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm George Dean, the president and CEO of the Greater Phoenix Urban League, a leading provider of human services in the Valley. Been talking this morning with Alan Powell, AP, as he is most commonly known to, and most name that he answers to is AP, the founder of the Checkered Flag Run Foundation.
Yes,
that
sir.
has been here now almost 5 years. Almost started in 2011, and 2016 is just around the corner, so that gives you a 5-year track record. And you know, like they say in small businesses, if you can get past the first year, you stand a good chance to succeed. But
Yes,
you've
sir.
gotten 5, so you're really succeeded and so
Yes, sir.
forth. But you talked about some of the things that you're going to do in 2016, especially doing Black History Month.
Yes, sir.
In February and so
Yes,
forth.
sir.
What are some other things you got going
Those are
on?
one of the other things we're working on creating an incubator system for entrepreneurship and working with the Urban League and the Black Chamber on creating young entrepreneurs. We've got Damon John involved. We've got ASU, University of Phoenix. All the educators are stepping up to try to create some kind of incubator system to create young entrepreneurship in Arizona, especially for kids of color in the inner city who may not be able to get the big jobs, but they may have some concepts that could feed their family and take care of their family and own their own company.
Okay, okay. And now, is this going to be primarily directed at high school students and so forth?
Yes, sir. Well, you know, it's funny you say that, Mr. Dean. It's going to be for everybody because what we're learning now, you've got kids, 13, 14-year-olds coming up because we live in an innovative society. You've got kids 13 and 14 coming up with concepts to turn into companies. And there's no age limit right now. 10 years old, 11 years old. You know, a great idea is a great idea.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it
And
is.
so that's one of the
You
things.
also mentioned, well, I mean, like the backpack thing, that was primarily for the elementary school kids.
Yes,
though.
sir.
More
K
so,
through 8.
I guess, you get into high school, you don't carry backpacks. Do they still carry backpacks?
No, sir, not really. A lot of those kids don't carry backpacks, but we try to service everybody. So we have tried to have a K through 8 program. Then we have a Racing to the Top scholarship program. We're going to give approximately 5 scholarships a year from Checkered Flag Run Foundation to send kids to HBCUs from Arizona. So we're working on that, and then our big event that we're working on is called Celebrate Arizona. We're creating a birthday party for the state, so we're working with the governor's office and Arizona Tourism, because I was on the board of the 100-year Centennial, but we're trying to create an official birthday party for the state every year in February, which is February 12th, 13th weekend, to celebrate the state's birthday, because I don't think nobody will be here in the next 100 years, so why not celebrate our state every year and have a signature event for our state and our municipalities.
Okay, okay, that's and the state's birthday and Black History Month is the same month.
Yes, sir.
So it all ties in.
It all ties in, yes, sir.
You can make it all right there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what about other folks? Can other folks get involved in the foundation at all? Can
Yes,
the
sir.
community get involved, or how would they get involved?
They can go to cfrf.org, and it shows our mission statement, shows our programs. We welcome everybody. One of the things that we're doing now that I forgot to mention, that we just reached out to the coalition, which is all the inner city facilities in the inner city, and we're going to actually do a Phoenix Easter egg hunt and at Hermosa Park this year for Easter, and just trying to figure out ways to keep the community out, keep the community uplifted and do things. And we'll be reaching out to the Urban League, the Black Chamber, to assist us in these things, and just try, because I think it starts with kids young. They just feel like need to know somebody cares about them.
Yeah, that's
saying?
very important.
Yes,
That's
sir.
very important. Give them inspiration and so forth.
Yes, sir. Each one teach one.
Each one teach one.
Yes, sir.
That's a good statement. I like that. I like that. Listen, we got less than a minute left, so give us that address again where people can go to the internet and check at what
cfrf.org.
cfrf.org, and that is CFRF, and put a .org on that, and check out Checkered Flag and find out how they can become involved if they care to.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Adam Powell, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us the kind of things that you're doing in the Checkered Flag Run Foundation. The Greater Phoenix Urban League is there. That's what we're all about, is trying to make life better in the community and so forth. That seems like what you're doing, so we're glad to partner with you in terms of making that happen.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dean.
And for all of you out there, once again, let me say on behalf of the board and staff of the Greater Phoenix Urban League, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, and all of those good things. We'll talk to you next year, if you will, on Urban Connections.